Okay, we need to get like hype.
Ready?
Are we ready? Welcome to a special guest episode of the Bikinis and Blazers podcast. Ariana and I are here with the beautiful Erin Krauss. She is an absolutely incredible inspiration. You may know her from her social media influence, her modeling, and her incredible YouTube channels. I'll have her give you all of that info right now. Give us the handles. We have to know.
Yeah, first of all, thanks for having me here.
Yes.
We're so happy to
I'm
have
so
you.
flattered to be here having this conversation with you guys. But yeah, my Instagram is at Erin Krauss, and same with my YouTube. No crazy names, just me.
Yes. This is like such a cool way to have so many conversations. If you are a fan of the podcast, you know how obsessed we are about having bikini talks, blazer talks. We want to encourage everyone watching to really just live in these like beautiful two mindsets. So for our bikini mindset, we really want to just get to know you, all about your story, how you take care of yourself from a wellness perspective, and just really just get to know you. You're a new friend to some of us. So tell us all about your life, where you grew up, all the things that light you up.
Yeah, so I was born and raised in Los Angeles, and I was actually raised in the Valley, which is about 30 minutes inland of Malibu. So for me, beach and surf culture wasn't really a thing growing up. But what got me onto that path is that I grew up as a competitive swimmer. So naturally, just being in the water was just second nature to me. And when the opportunity came, and my mom put me in this junior lifeguard program in Malibu, that just became the bridge and fueled my lifestyle today, basically, because in that program, I became so comfortable in the ocean, and I developed a love for surfing, and I just feel like I finally found a community of people who was just like me, and it was so fun to be around those people who, you know, we all enjoy the same things finally, because I never felt like I truly belonged in the Valley, just didn't feel like my kind of people. So my love for the ocean definitely came at a much later point in my life, when I was like 14 years old. Since then though, I was hooked. Every second I could get off of school, I was finding a way to go to the beach, whether it was begging my parents for rides or tagging along with my older brother. And through that, I kind of taught myself how to surf. And that was a bit of a struggle, as you can imagine, just trying something new. But I just wanted so much to be good enough to where I didn't really have to struggle in the water. And now it's super fun, and it's my lifestyle, so it kind of came from that.
Oh my gosh. So literally, I think the biggest fear that I would have would be, you know, learning how to swim to a level to where I'm like not scared that I'm gonna drown, right?
Yeah.
I think it's really cool because for those of us that are just getting to know you, they would see like all these beautiful, really inspirational lifestyle type of content on all of your platforms, and just these beautiful tropical, scenic, or surf inspired photos and videos and reels and YouTube episodes. And so it's really nice to know like that, you know, you can definitely just evolve from your time of youth to basically these kind of like iconic like lifestyle moments, right? And now we're learning like you came from competitive swim, and then you taught yourself how to surf, and it's not just like a photo. There's like a little bit more to it, and there's some true passion there.
Absolutely, yeah. Some people, I guess they would assume that with modeling I kind of just got into it, but that wasn't the case, because for me it came from more of an athletic background. Because I consider myself very much a water woman before I'd consider myself a swimsuit or a surf model. And actually I'm an ocean lifeguard in Malibu, and
Whoa.
I've been teaching that program that got me into the ocean lifestyle for the past 4 years. I've definitely come very full circle, kind of like giving back to the community. But yeah, it definitely came from more of an athletic point, and I think my content kind of shows that because yeah, you can be a bikini model, but are you a bikini model who can free dive and hold their breath for minutes, or go and surf bigger waves and be comfortable? So I feel like there's definitely that background there.
I really love that. I love that we just learned that she was a competitive swimmer. I think that there's something to be said about, you know, like sports and how like sports kind of can be like this fuel for engaging with opportunities, right? Like, and I love that you shared that. So like, tell us a little bit more about that. Like, do you feel like, I know that also you called yourself a water woman. Like, that's like so awesome. Like, I'm taking that with me. I feel like I need to write that down somewhere. I'm like, I want to be a water woman. But like, what do you think, I guess, you learned in the competitive arena or in sports that you feel like maybe has like fueled, you know, your success as an adult?
Yeah, that's a great question. I would say that growing up as a competitive swimmer was a bit of a struggle, and now that I'm retired, I'm so glad that I don't do that anymore, but I'm grateful for it, because when you're in the moment and you're waking up at 4 a.m. to go swim in an outdoor pool in pitch black darkness, it just is not fun when you're in the moment. But those moments are what strengthen you as a person. And even though, yeah, it sucks, I feel like I'm such a stronger person because of this background. And not only did it make me strong and tough physically, but definitely mentally, because I can handle tough situations, tough conditions, putting my body through so much stress and being okay with it, because I know that I've done it before and I can do it again.
So you're not a baby. You're not a big baby.
No.
You got some tough skin.
Yeah, definitely. So
I think
I'm
that's
so
cool.
grateful.
I think that's so interesting. I'm fascinated by that too, because you just told us like you woke up and it was pitch black, right? And you're getting into the cold water. Like, that sounds like, first of all, my worst nightmare.
Yeah.
Okay, and like second of all, like I'm just fascinated to know, because you were so, you know, you were young, right? Like, how easy would it be to be like, I just want to sleep in? Yeah. But so tell me a little bit about like what motivated you to do that?
I think, well, first of all, I don't really think I had a choice. It was kind of something that my parents pushed me into. And once I got into it, having the coaches be such an integral part of my lifestyle and be such an influential figure, and then to also have teammates around you really helped, because being in these situations together, practicing together, spending honestly like 4 hours a day, every single day together, you become a family that pushes each other, but also is a support group. So it's kind of like, yeah, I'm in this, but I know that my friends are gonna be there, and we're just gonna get through it all together.
So what was like the jump off point? Like, tell us when you first started to teach yourself how to surf. I'm really curious about that, because that's something like, living so close to the water, I've always kind of wanted to tiptoe into it, but I can't seem to like overcome the discomforts and like the fears that will ultimately get me to that point. So you did it. So share with us a little bit about like how that was, and what you had to maybe push through to be where you're at right now with it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, being a pool swimmer versus being someone who's comfortable in the ocean is so different. And luckily, I feel strong in both bodies of water, in all bodies of water. But yeah, when I was like 14, I remember going to Zuma Beach in Malibu, and this is a particularly challenging ocean to do junior lifeguards, because you just have colder water, bigger waves, and really strong currents that are happening. So I feel like I was trained in such an extreme environment that I'm more comfortable. And I was really lucky to have such inspiring junior lifeguard instructors who just taught me to get over my fears and make me confident in my abilities. And so honestly, I owe all of my ocean knowledge to them. They trained me. Yeah.
So what was it like to, like, you know, not coming from like maybe a family of surfers or something? Like, how did you choose your surfboard? Like, when would you like put yourself out there? Like, what was your routine? And just give us like the humble beginnings of like what that looked like.
Yeah, luckily my older brother kind of got us all into surfing. So he definitely paved the way. And through him, I would hitch rides because he could drive and I couldn't. So I would just go with him to the beach, surf with his friends, and actually surfing with him and his friends also helped me to become better because surfing with boys, they, I think, push you a little harder than what you think your limits are. So yeah, those challenges were very fun. But yeah, figuring all the surfboard stuff out, it was kind of daunting because when you're new to that world, there's just so many little things that if you're not in the know, people look down on you for, which sucks. But I feel like that's with any sport, really.
Yeah.
Once you are well enough versed in that field, then you get accepted into the community. But until then, you're a kook.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think that's like kind of just like pretty. I feel like surfing is like more that way than most things that you would hear of. Like, you almost have to, like, there's pressure to start off being like an expert at it.
Yeah.
And how are you ever supposed to get to that point if you're feeling that heat as you're learning?
Absolutely. And I think it's so mean when people are rude to beginners in the lineup. Like, I understand that beginners can be dangerous, but instead of yelling at them, maybe friendly, give them some advice on where actually to be and what to go for, rather than just being like, get out of here, kook. You know, like, there can be such a more positive way to do this, especially like you said, everyone has to start from somewhere. So I think it's just, there could be better vibes out in the water sometimes.
Oh my gosh.
Do you feel like your experience like as a beginner, because you had said like you were in these, you know, it was like sort of like high pressure, you know, like currents, or I don't even know anything about the ocean, but and then you're also with boys, right? Like that's like heightened too. So like I can only imagine, I feel like, you know, you experienced failure and like that's part of learning. And so like, I guess, what was your experience or like your story around that process?
Yeah, I mean, luckily I grew up with two brothers, so I was always being pushed around and I had to assert myself for survival and to show that, yeah, I can hang. And it was good to have brothers because this same theme has come up again all throughout my whole life. For swimming, I was training with the boys, and I would actually always try to beat the boys, and many times I did.
That's so cool.
Same with being an ocean lifeguard. Most of the ocean lifeguards are men, but the small group of us females out there, we can kick butt. So, yeah,
we love that.
It's awesome because we're not, oh, you're good enough because you're a girl. It's no, we can also save lives just as well as you can, which is why we're peers, which is why we're also wearing the red uniform. So yeah, it makes me feel good to know that it's all on the same level of competition.
Let's talk about the dynamics though with, you know, a lot of times I feel, especially when you're in those younger years, if you're the girl that's always with the boys, obviously that comes with some dynamics with girls, right? You're either a girl's girl or a guy's girl. And I feel like, you know, if you could share with us what that experience might have looked like and how that might have changed your line of thinking now with your peer circles with like men versus women.
Totally. Yeah, that's kind of a personal question because I have struggled with certain girl relationships in the past. More through middle school and high school, I would say, was really difficult. Growing up, feel like people didn't care, so people were friends with everybody. But yeah, middle school, high school, we all want to like find ourselves in our friend group. So yeah, a lot of the girlfriends that I did have outside of swimming were kind of catty and kind of would go behind your back, and you know, there's all this drama that would happen, and I never liked that very much. And I think there's also a little element of jealousy, of course, with like young girls growing up. So I actually sometimes preferred hanging out with the guys, but luckily I had like a few really great girlfriends, and they were all on the swim team because they understood what it was like. So I think just surrounding yourself with people who don't want to bring you down, but you know, just thrive off of your successes and vice versa is so important. And I didn't really learn that until college. High school was tough for me with the girl relationships.
Yeah. I can imagine too, because, you know, if you're watching this and you have a high schooler in your family, or maybe you are a high school or college girl or guy, you know the pressures are really extreme to conform. And I feel like even right now there's probably a lot of pressure to be almost an extreme individual with like the young people right now. It's not, you know, you have to conform to not conforming at this point. And that's really interesting to hear because, you know, when I was in high school, I had like 2 good girlfriends and all the rest of my friends were boys. And I just loved the humor and like the easiness of those dynamics. But then again, I only had 2 girlfriends, you know, but I just relate to that so much. And I can only imagine, you know, how that sets you up as like a young 20-something. And, you know, so tell us a little bit about your peer circle now in regards to, you know, you do a lot of amazing things. You're putting yourself out there constantly. You're in the water, you're traveling, you're showcasing all of your lifestyle travels online. And how's that like with your friendships? And like, who do you choose as your friendships?
Nowadays, I feel like I know who I am, and I only want to choose people who have good energy and aren't toxic in any way. And I'm so lucky that now I've surrounded myself with people who love the same things that I do, and they are water people, they're surfers, they're swimmers, they're creatives, photographers, other influencers, and we're all kind of in the same world that it's just so nice to find my people after so long of feeling like I was kind of in this myself. So it's really special because I now have friends all over the world. If I want to go somewhere, I'll hit them up and be like, hey, I'll be here. And then it's really cool because these kinds of friendships, they're not awkward at all. If you haven't seen each other in so long, you can just pick up right where you left off. And it's just fun being able to share the same interests too, because you can do it together. And same with surfing. It's just like a common passion that all my friends share. So we can just go and do that anywhere.
I'm really like impressed by you saying that, I think, because even just knowing you for, you know, for a few hours today, like you have this beautiful feminine energy, and also like we were chatting, you know, behind the scenes, like, and you were so kind, and she was like sharing like her makeup with me earlier today, and like, and I just want to know, because I feel like something that resonates with me is like when you do find like this circle, right? This circle, these people, like sometimes there are those people that don't necessarily like fit into that circle anymore, right? That you have known from your past, right? And that can be difficult, right? When we do have this like feminine energy, we want to help people, like, you know, and so tell me a little bit about like, you know, if there's a transition there or what that looks like.
I've definitely lost a couple strong relationships that I had growing up, just because towards the end of our falling out, there just wasn't kindness there anymore, I felt. And I totally understand tough love if you're good friends, but if you're just being kind of mean and petty for the sake of being mean and petty, then I don't want anything to do with that. So if it just doesn't work for me, I have no problem cutting ties and distancing myself. And yeah, it sucks because especially friendships that have gone with you since childhood, it just sucks to like not really have them in your life anymore, but it's for the better, I think.
What a great message, because that's so, that's such a strong message. And it's like, I think especially so many people are going to resonate with that's like such an important, healthy boundary to have.
Yeah.
So this is something we're so passionate about, is like really choosing the energies that are around us, because we know that basically we live up to the standards of those we surround ourselves with. And it's those standards that really empower us to actually execute and see our dreams into existence, or they could at the same token like limit us, make us have these other emotions bubble up, like insecurity, fear of outgrowing peers. And it's something that I know I've experienced over and over and over again. I've had to say goodbye to many close friends that were in my everyday life because we started to have like disconnects in what our ideology was around really taking risks and putting ourselves out there. And so I feel like it's without getting so deep into like the stories of like individuals that maybe have come and gone from your life, what do you think is something that you look for now in like a new friend, a new peer? And be specific, because I know that you strike me as somebody that's really intentional because of how many projects that you have going on at one time, how busy you are when you're in and out of town. You have to be super selective with your time because there's very small pockets for your relationships, especially new ones. Tell us what your baseline is for letting somebody into your life at this point in time.
I'd say I'm definitely naturally kind of an introvert, so I need to have someone almost approach me first and be extra bubbly and extra friendly to kind of get me out of my shell, because I think it's kind of due to my, I don't want to say like trauma from past relationships, but because of bad experiences, I do have a tendency to kind of shy away from unknown social situations, and I'd rather be myself than be by myself than put myself out there and like be a little scared. So yeah, it definitely helps if someone is like extra friendly to like coax me out, and then just being a good person. It's as simple as that, but it's something that you can pick up in just the littlest things, like how they treat the people around them is so important, and that's what I notice the most. So if I see that, and if this new person shows me in some random scenario, I'm like, wow, I want to get to know this person more.
I love that.
Beautiful.
I love when I go to a restaurant or a bar and someone is like really nice to the server, or like those little moments to me I think are so important. And like I love that you shared that, because I pick up on that energy as well.
Absolutely.
And so that resonates. Like I select my circle based on those kind of interactions as well.
Yeah, totally. I just love when people are so sweet, and also being positive too. Positivity is huge, because it's easy to be negative and complain, but what really stands out to me is even if the situation sucks, like they're gonna make the most out of it.
Do you feel like that's something that you kind of I don't know, I think sports definitely, you have to be of that mindset, right? Where you're like, ooh, this could potentially be a negative situation, but you can always look at something in a different way, right? And so like I guess what kinds of like mindset redirecting tips, like, or like, you know, like ways that you redirect your mindset, like how does that impact your life?
Well, like I said earlier, I do have this tendency to be fearful sometimes, and actually what I do is I set a personal challenge to myself to get out of that mindset. And it's so hard. I have to literally force myself to do these things because I know that if it's just up to me and if I want to be comfortable, I'll just be comfortable. So I'm like, no, you have to do these things, and that's how you make changes. I literally will force myself.
I love that. Ugh,
Get out of the comfort zone. Okay, so tell us something that we would never guess about you.
Yeah, so I guess this goes back to my upbringing, but I was actually on the path to be a professional violinist.
Wow.
Hey, come on.
Yeah, I come from a very musical background, and I played violin since I was 4, and my dad's a musician and a composer, and he really pushed that on me. So it was violin and swimming, and eventually I chose the beach bum lifestyle.
Yeah.
So my parents are like, what happened? But yeah, I have a very musical background.
We love that.
So cool.
Fun fact.
That is so fun. I feel like you're definitely strike me as somebody that literally tries new things, challenges herself. Like I love that vibe because I feel like that's something where I can connect with you on. You seem that you are just a big open heart. We originally met you through hair collaborations in the salon, and I had been stalking your Instagram page for like probably 2 years. I know you lived in Malibu and I'm in San Clemente, but you just recently moved here, and it was just like kind of felt like meant to be. I'm like, Erin, come and let me do your hair. And you're like, I'm here in town. And we created this like beautiful new look on you. And so we can't wait to see more of you.
Yeah, I know. I'm right down the street now.
And we're just going to keep
Can't get
popping
rid of
off on
me.
this hair.
Yeah, I know. Oh, it's so fun.
So beautiful on you.
So this is so much fun. I think there's a YouTube floating around somewhere of your hair experience, which will be so fun to see in the salon. I love it.
Yes, we filmed a little behind the scenes of this hair transformation, so thought my subscribers would enjoy watching.
Yes. Okay, so here's the deal. We're wanting more from Erin. We want to take this conversation and learn more about who she is and a little bit more into her psychology and her girl bossery and about all the fun projects that she has down the pipeline. And so we're gonna have to discover that in another episode.
Yeah, so you're gonna have to stay tuned.
Yeah, thank you, Erin.
Of course, that was so fun.
Yes,
Ready
we
for
love
episode
it.
2.
Yes. So we'll see you in the next episode featuring our beautiful Erin, and we're so excited.
See you guys in the